We try to pray about it. We try to think about it. We try to dream about it. We try to aspire to be him or her, yet also be right here of who am I? That's the stuff that gets filled up in your head that you got to fight every day. And seeing what happens when you want to be the best in the world at something, the hard work that no one knows about 7 days a week, no one knows that. In the day, that's what he does. It's not who he is.
My man.
Hello, Brady.
Thank you for being here.
It's great to be here.
No, this is amazing. So it's obviously through the journey of everything, like you mentioned yesterday, with Impact X, starting just as coaching, right? Impact X was just a coaching community, and it's evolved into these beautiful facilities where we're teaching the messages, not just the training, not just the gym, but the mind, body, and soul. You being able to go into your core values, like I just mentioned. For everyone here, seeing your journey, following you from a long time, or just meeting you today, as a coach, you've coached a lot of high-level athletes, professional athletes, high-level coaches. What are some common limiting beliefs that you felt even people at the highest level hold on to?
I can't do it. That's a common limiting belief is I can't do it. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm made for this. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Am I really made for this? I mean, those are the things you say to yourself probably now, like an athlete would, or I would, or anyone else would is, am I built for this? Am I made for this? I think those are the things that I would say fill one's head. And it's the voices in your head that when you're out for a walk in the morning, you're training, that's the stuff that gets filled up in your head that you got to fight every day. Or am I the only one? Everyone probably has that, right? So that's the stuff that we got to get through today and every day is that belief, that limiting belief that all of us have. As Benny was saying earlier on, that's why we got to keep our circle tight. Otherwise, you listen to the riffraff that's out here, you're done. You got to be careful who you listen to, how much you take in of what you listen to. Because if you start believing some of that garbage, you're in trouble. So that's some of the limiting beliefs.
Now, I just mentioned, and something that I talk about a lot with my clients is being him before you're him. That ability to own that version of yourself, even if the evidence hasn't fully caught up yet, but having that belief. And that's what's so important of having the inner circle, keeping that inner circle tight, having your partner believe in you. All these little things that kind of get pushed to the side, people don't notice. What is something for everyone here, how we can start owning our potential, how we can start being that version of ourselves today, even if we don't fully feel it yet with the external?
Believing him, huh?
Being him.
Yep. Being him before he's him. Who's him? Who is him? Who is her? Right? Who is that? Later on, I'm going to lead you through an exercise of trying to visualize who that is because we don't know who that is. We try to pray about it. We try to think about it. We try to dream about it. We try to aspire to be him or her, yet also be right here of who am I? Who am I right now? Who am I today? And who I am is who you think I am? Is that who I am? Who you think I am? Is that who I am? Because who I am is probably not who you think I am. Because you don't know what's in my head all the time. Right? So these thoughts of who am I? Because you think, oh, Todd or Brady or Marcus or whoever is him. You don't know that. So to me, it's like, who am I today? That's only a prayer that I have in the morning of who can I be today, knowing that who I am today is going to lead me to who I am tomorrow. Now, I know I'm kind of philosophical and deep right now, but that being said, that's the truth is like be him before he is him. Yeah, maybe in the early morning workout that you're having, like, you know, you feel in beast mode and that you're having those moments where, man, I feel like I'm invincible. But the truth is when no one's around and your voices are speaking to you, then who are you? Then who are you when the voices are speaking? It's just you. It's like, all right, come on, me and you, baby. Who is that? That's when I think that true mindset kicks in that I'm talking about.
Now, one thing I kind of touched on and how present you are, that was like the first thing I noticed being at my first retreat is I didn't even know anybody. And when we were talking, it was like I was the only person in the room. And that's something that is very rare, and it leaves such an impact. It leaves such a wave. Now you've trained people just getting started, new trainers, speaking your message to them. You've also worked with people at the highest level like Drew Brees, Jordan Love, like people that people see on TV that, you know, they get all the fame, they get all the glory. How are you able to maintain that energy about yourself no matter what? If it's something that's on a television show, if it's something with the biggest athletes in the world, or if it's just something where you're pouring into people who it's their first time ever being out here, it's their first time training. How do you embody that version of you that obviously has left an impact on everyone else that you've been around?
I think it's because I've learned over the years that everyone is important. Like literally everyone is important. And the most important thing that someone could feel is to be heard. I guess being the youngest of 8 kids, having my sister Pam in the room right now, when you're the youngest of 8 kids, you're often, you know, you're not always the most important one, right? You're the last one. You learn over the years through experiences, everyone just wants to be heard. And that means you have to be a listener. And through my career, through ups and downs in my career, you learn that as you're speaking and as your success may catapult or level up, I've always tried to go the other way. The higher the success, the more I can connect deeper to the people who aren't those people you mentioned. Mm-hmm. It's the people who can do no good to you. Like, I really enjoy when someone comes up to my office and there's no one around and I can actually sit down and just have a real conversation with someone, and not that there's cameras on or lights on. Like, to me, that's where you can really get into like the stuff that like makes lives change. So, I'd say that it really comes down to being present, and it's being conscious of being present. It's being like, this morning when I was out with my pup walking, I'm like, I don't know who's going to be the one today. I don't know who's going to be in the room, but someone's going to be changed today. That's why I'm here. That's why I drove up with Marcus and my son Brady. Like, I don't know, but there's one. And every day it's like, who's the one going to be today? Listen to a podcast or social media post or a talk. Like, that one person is probably going to be just an ordinary person that gets impacted.
That's it. Now, last one. I want to keep it close to 10 minutes, but what's a story from one of your times with maybe NFL, maybe some of the higher level athletes that, or coaches that a lot of these people look up to, maybe have followed even since childhood? You know, I know a lot of people have heard of you through, you know, Drew Brees, things like that. What's a story where you were, you know, in the trenches with those guys, maybe before they were him, right? They were in their earlier stages. What's a story that you can remember of your role in their development, and then kind of seeing that unfold?
Julio, right? I'll say just because Julio just shared with me, and I didn't realize this. We had just met, but he said, "I've been following you since Drew Brees ripped his shoulder out of his socket." I'm like, man, that's a long time ago. That's like 2006, in the 2005 season. So I would share that story probably, Brady, because what no one knew about that then was I was just kind of coming on the radar then, because LaDainian Tomlinson, my first guy, was a running back who was teammates with Drew with the San Diego Chargers at the time. Is I was in the press box in the suite that the Breezes had, and I was with his wife Brittany. And when that happened, I knew immediately that something serious was wrong. And when Drew, who had become a good friend at that point, was hurt, here's a guy who, like any other athlete that I work with or you work with, Brady, was trying to make it. He had already been benched 2 times in his career. Drew Brees had been benched twice, meaning no one else believes in you except probably 3 people. Your wife, your trainer, and you, maybe 2.5. The story I would just share is walking through the process of Dr. James Andrews saying you'll never throw again, let alone be an NFL quarterback again. and seeing what happens when you want to be the best in the world at something, the hard work that no one knows about 7 days a week, no one knows that. No one knows the phone calls, the texts. No one knows, like, when you are obsessed with something to be great, like Drew, like what it takes. So when you watch the Super Bowl or you see an endorsement deal, I don't see that. I see a broken guy whose mom just committed suicide. That's what I see. In 2009, before the season started, I get that phone call that his mom had committed suicide and he's preparing for the NFL season. I see someone, how do you go from broken to like just showing up and playing? Like, that's what I see, because I was there every step of the way. So when you ask that story of some of the things that I have seen, that's a great example of keeping the circle, like believers around you that can pour into you. And then that year won the Super Bowl, and then the rest is history. Because when you get certain accolades in your life, not that you need any accolades to get to where you want to go, but stuff like that, there's these, and I'm going to call them later on, I call them lily pad moments, lily pads. Jumping from lily pad to lily pad is that was a lily pad moment for Drew winning the Super Bowl, being there in Miami with my wife, Melanie, seeing that. I don't see all the rings. I see the stuff behind the scenes. And that's the real stuff. The conversations you have with some of these guys that people think are heroes, and they're struggling with their marriages, their finances, just like stuff you just wouldn't ever believe because you don't hear about it on TV. It's the real stuff. My guy Marcus hears, same thing is that's life. That's the life stuff that everyone deals with. They deal with it a little bit differently if they're in a public eye.
It's good. You've been in it, in the behind the scenes. I mean, the respect, and you see the stuff that it looks great on the outside. It brings in endorsements, money, fame, but the stuff that you've seen, the messages, the late nights, like that's the love. Like that's.
I mean, a common example today is Jordan Love, quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. I was training him last offseason. It was last offseason when I was training him. It was one of our last sessions, and I said, "Hey, Jordan, I'm going to speak to a school here after our session." He's like, "Oh yeah, what school?" I'm like, "Oh, Christian High School." That's cool. He said, "What are you talking about?" So I gave him I practiced my sermon, so to speak, on him. He's like, "Wow, I didn't know that." He goes, "You know what? When I was in high school, my dad died. He committed suicide." I'm like, "Your dad committed suicide?" He said, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Is that public knowledge?" He said, "Kind of. I mean, like, I don't hide it, but I don't talk about it either." I'm like, "You got a great platform." Like, he's like, "I'm working on a foundation and everything to put the Love Foundation out there and help." And I started talking deeper. I ended up doing a podcast episode with him about that, because you take a guy that's been put into a limelight with millions of followers, and you hear the number of kids popping themselves, not just kids, adults too, hear a father in high school when he was a young man, he almost quit football. Imagine that. I mean, he almost quit football. He's done. They're like, he's doing whatever else he's doing, but he's not playing ball, doing what he's doing with the platform he has to create the impact he has. So it made me think about, like, this is a common example he's going through right now as he's training for his next upcoming season, is you just don't know. I'm like, "You got to tell that story, Jordan. You have to tell that story. Kids need to hear this because they're going to look up to you as someone that doesn't have it all together, because on TV, you got it all together. That's all you hear on the media and the stuff you read on is that. You don't hear about the life side of it, the struggles that these guys go through." But to me, that's another great story of a common, a current athlete. And it's all over the place of, you just don't know sometimes what they're going through mentally, professionally, personally, relationally, any aspect. That's why I love what we do, though, right? Like, if we have the ability to connect with them at that level, is to really not just ask about the squats, the reps, the throwing, all the mechanics and things that we're going to work on the field. It's the off the field stuff. It's when you're sitting in the cold plunge, or you're on the boots, or you're stretching and you're talking about life, and you're asked about, hey, you're getting, he's getting married this summer, and all these things that it's life. End of the day, that's what he does. It's not who he is. Thank you, Brady. Nice. Good. Hey, thanks so much for sticking around to the very end of this episode. As a matter of fact, I had in my heart right now that I wanted to share something with you above and beyond and call this and then some. Is for any of you who right now are going through a storm, you're going through a tough time, I want to speak life into you for just a minute. Maybe you're going through a difficult season of your life, and that's what it is. It's a season. We talk about Labor Day, and when I was a young boy, I was 17 years old, and Coach Wolf gave me that Labor Day speech. I was thinking that the season before, we didn't have the season we wanted because we got cut short of the playoffs by just one game. And it made me think of how hard we worked in the off season to get back to the championship level, which we indeed that season ended up playing in the state championship game. But the season you're in, whether you're in a championship season or you're a losing season, I want you to think about something right now. I'm going to speak to you right now. I want you to think about this. Get your eyes off the storm. Off the storm. Like maybe right now you're going through the storm and your mind is all consumed by the storm itself. I want you to think about what is the impossible that you're dreaming of. The impossible thing that could happen that's beyond the storm. It's through the other side of the storm. See, what happens when you're going through the storm sometimes is you can't get your eyes off the storm because you're inundated with the chaos from the storm. Maybe it's people, maybe it's a situation, an environment, whatever it may be. But realize this, that circumstances don't control the power of God. The circumstances don't. See, God always laughs at some of the things that we're going through because we can't get our eyes off of that and put it on him, because he ultimately can help us get through the storm so we can focus on the impossible things that he wants us to achieve. So if you focus just on the storm, where's your energy going? Then your energy's going on the storm itself. And we don't want your energy going on just the storm. We want you to think about, where are you being called to be great? Where are you being called to do the impossible? What I'm going to just say today is, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to make the moves, the decisions that need to be made, because if you don't do that, you're not going to live. Does that make sense? If you're so afraid to fail, then you're never going to live, because you're never going to make the decisions to get you through the storms that you may be facing, because in your mind, you can't get your mind off of that stuff. So no regrets. Right now, here in this month of September, if you're listening in the month of September, Labor Day is now through. We're enjoying the labor, but I want you to think about this. Get your eyes off the storm. Don't just you got to get through it, but you got to go to the other side and lean in on God. Focus on what he can get you through, because he can get you through anything, the impossible. And when you look at the word impossible, what does the word impossible say? I am possible. I'm possible. Stop thinking impossible, not going to work. Yeah, I am possible. Spell it out. I am possible. I'm possible. That's what I'm talking about. So go live the impossible today. Get your eyes off the storm, and let's keep living a great level. And until that time, get through the storm and get to the side, and that's where impossible lives. And to that, it's time to go labor, labor, labor. I love you guys. A little and then some for you today. Go out there and make it a great day. Yoo-hoo! Yeah, you know who it is. That's right. Time to get your mind right. You've been hearing me talk about it nonstop since July. And I've been like, get your mind right, get your mind right, get your mind right. But my friends, now is the time to help get other people's minds right as well. You've been hearing me talk about the Get Your Mind Right Mindset Coaching Certification Program. If you're a parent, if you're a coach, if you're a trainer, this might be the time to pull the trigger to help more kids get their minds right. Athletes, if you're looking to help get your kids' minds right, this is the certification. I partnered with my good friend Andrew Simpson, who's also a mindset coach. In the 20 years I've been doing this with my NFL, MLB, baseball athletes, my youth athletes, this program was designed to not only get people's minds right, but to help get them through the best time of their life. Well, what's supposed to be the best time of their life. And what I want to just say is this. I have had such tremendous feedback since we launched this just last year, July, of people saying, man, Todd, thank you so much for this. We need it as an industry, in sport, we need it. Yes, we do. My friends, the call out is for you as a parent, as a coach, as a trainer. If you have been considering it, now is the time. Why? Because on Labor Day, that's right, on Labor Day, my favorite holiday, the price is going up. because it's everything before Labor Day. You're going to have incredible bonuses and pricing available on the Get Your Mind Right Mindset Coaching certification. So just hop over to GYMRcoaching.com. GYMR Coaching, that stands for Get Your Mind Right Coaching. So GYMRcoaching.com. Take advantage of the amazing specials that still exist. If you're a parent, if you're a trainer, or you're a coach, now is a time to become a Get Your Mind Right Mindset coach. I'll see you on the inside.